SlumG stepped inside, the restaurant's fluorescent lights throbbing overhead as every fork-clink and sideways glance seemed to prod him, the air thick with the ghostly pressure of 1,000 unspoken rules. Even before he sat, his phone buzzed with invisible chat-nagging, silent spectral voices already whispering about IDs and utensils, as if the whole place was primed for a cosmic compliance audit. As SlumG slid into a corner booth, he felt the server's eyes dart to his Manchester City jersey and the glinting phone, as if registering a cosmic infringement before his order even left his lips. Every metallic scrape and shifting chair seemed to echo a silent incantation, summoning from behind the kitchen's curtain of steam the first faint shiver of bureaucratic ghosts eager to audit his piece. Just as SlumG's order vanished into the kitchen, the fluorescent lights above flickered, heralding the arrival of the overzealous municipal health inspector, clipboard angled for attack, who peered at the innocent thali setup and asked, in a voice that sizzled like sanitizer, "Sir, have you sanitized your soul with 20 seconds of vigorous hand-washing before approaching this rice?" Meanwhile, the soft-spoken thali inspector materialized beside the cartoon superhero mural, quietly jotting a note about SlumG's utensil alignment as a faint, spectral whisper of chat hissed through the air, a chorus of etiquette advice, each syllable nudging SlumG's nerves closer to cosmic audit. SlumG's spoon hesitated mid-air as the overzealous municipal health inspector's LED beam swept over his plate, narrating invisible grime and demanding SlumG recite the full cosmic hygiene anthem before tasting his dal. Meanwhile, the soft-spoken thali inspector's pen scratched on, his eyes flicking knowingly between SlumG's trembling fork and the server's anxious hands, as the air thickened with the unspoken rules of both kitchen and afterlife. SlumG's spoon hovered just above his plate, knuckles whitening as the Wi-Fi auditor glided in, a specter with a blinking meter that pulsed every time SlumG's phone so much as flickered, quietly demanding a digital darshan permit before another bite was streamed or swallowed. Behind him, the Q disciplinarian spirit materialized with a clipboard and a sigh, gently nudging the server to rearrange SlumG's utensils in proper protocol, while the suspicious uncle across the aisle coughed twice, an ominous back-channel warning that in this realm, even a misplaced fork could trigger cosmic paperwork. As SlumG's spoon inched toward his mouth, the Wi-Fi auditor's signal meter screeched with bureaucratic glee, forcing him to freeze mid-bite while the Q disciplinarian spirit began counting out the seconds allowed, clipboard tapping in time with SlumG's rising pulse. The server's shadow flickered across the plate, utensils rearranged yet again in a futile ballet of compliance, as SlumG's own reflection in the thali shimmered, equal parts hungry man and haunted petitioner, caught between the world's most absurd cosmic protocol and the silent, smirking approval of 1,000 invisible backseat drivers. SlumG's knuckles whitened around the spoon as the fluorescent lights above seemed to pulse in sync with a chorus of spectral chat messages, the restaurant's air thickening with a fog of whispered ridicule. "Bro, you need ID for that bite," hissed the server, his face flickering at the edges like a buffering stream. The queue at the door grew eerily still, each patron's face blurring into a ghostly audience, their collective gaze transforming every chew and swallow into a cosmic referendum on utensil use and bureaucratic compliance. A new chill swept over SlumG as he raised his fork, the digital onslaught morphing into something more insidious. A spectral health inspector appeared at his side, clipboard glowing faintly, scribbling notes on improper utensil usage, while the server's face blurred like a buffering stream, mouth glitching between chat memes and officialdom. ID, please. Section 4.3 prohibits fork-clink. From behind a nearby cartoon mural, another bureaucratic apparition, Wi-Fi auditor, materialized, waving a signal meter and muttering about connectivity compliance as the real patrons flickered between bored diners and ghostly auditors, their gazes weaponized by chat's relentless ridicule. The entire restaurant pulsed like a courtroom, every swallow now evidence for cosmic regulators, each bite cross-examined by both the living and the live-streamed. SlumG, caught in this haunted fusion of governmental farce and digital hive mind, realized he wasn't just eating. He was performing a ritual of compliance, judged by a nation of invisible backseat drivers and red-tape phantoms, the air thick with the scent of dal and the absurd promise that in India even lunch could trigger an audit. With a trembling hand, SlumG brandished his scooter license and switched from fork to hand, reciting a shloka so earnestly that the overzealous health inspector's pen hovered mid-air. Only for the soft-spoken thali inspector to quietly demand viscosity proof for the buttermilk, while the Wi-Fi auditor, blinking with bureaucratic glee, produced a meter and requested login credentials before SlumG's next bite. Each concession spawned new regulations. Helmet safety forms emerged from spectral pockets. The Q-spirit adjusted invisible thalis and intoned, "Section 42B requires push-ups before dessert, sir," as SlumG's reflection in the steel plate blinked back at him, exhausted yet too bemused to resist the cosmic farce. Buttermilk trembling in its steel tumbler, SlumG fumbled for a helmet safety form as the thali inspector's glasses flashed, the Wi-Fi auditor's meter thrummed red, and the Q-spirit silently shifted a stack of invisible plates, each bureaucratic ghost pausing just long enough for his pulse to pound in the brief hush between their demands. In that moment, with the fluorescent light flickering and the taste of dal barely on his tongue, SlumG caught his own reflection in the thali, a man beset by regulations multiplying like mischievous chat emotes, yet determined to savor at least one unregulated bite before the next cosmic checklist arrived. The overzealous municipal health inspector's pen hovered a hair above his clipboard, eyes narrowing as he demanded SlumG recite the proper hand-washing anthem, while the soft-spoken thali inspector gently nudged a fresh roti closer, only to pause, mid-gesture, when the Temple Q spirit manifested beside the table, clipboard ready to log every chew in the great book of order. As the temple courtyard Wi-Fi auditor's signal meter shrieked, and an unseen chorus of chat emotes swirled in the fluorescent haze, each one barking contradictory orders about chapati technique and live stream citations. SlumG's fork trembled in the air, the thali before him now ringed with officials and cosmic auditors, the rules closing in like a fog of digital and analog absurdity. Sweat prickled at SlumG's temples as the overzealous municipal health inspector barked for a thali biometric scan. The temple courtyard Wi-Fi auditor whirred their meter dangerously close to his phone, and the soft-spoken thali inspector quietly reached out, fingertips trembling, to check if his chapati had proper edge alignment, all while the Q disciplinarian spirit ghosted behind, reciting Section 11C about chapati to bite ratios in a voice like gently shuffling forms. The cosmic trickster spirit of chat surged into the chaos, its invisible fingers tugging at every arm and utensil, demanding, "Show your darshan pass." "Fold the roti counterclockwise." "Stop! Eat faster! Now slower! Now ID!" Until the whole battleground of dinner pulsed with backseat decrees, and SlumG could barely tell if the roar in his ears was bureaucracy or his own frantic heartbeat. SlumG exhaled, letting the clang of ladles and the low hum of fluorescent lights ground him, then snapped a salute so exaggerated even the Q disciplinarian spirit's clipboard wobbled. "Yes, sir. Biometric scan for every grain coming right up." The bureaucratic specters blinked in comical unison, pens and meters stalling midair as, like a Wi-Fi signal during festival rush, they flickered and faded into bureaucratic haze, leaving only the familiar warmth of roti on steel and the gentle, unhaunted noise of dinner. SlumG let the clang of a spoon against stainless steel punctuate his absurd salute, then plastered on a grin so cheerfully bureaucratic that even the overzealous inspector's LED flashlight faltered in mid-blink. For a breathless moment, every spectral pen and meter hovered in confusion, the supernatural chorus of red tape dissolving into the normal squabble of dinner orders and the soothing slap of fresh rotis on his plate. Helmet secure, SlumG eased onto his battered scooter, the rural night humming with promise as the last echoes of fluorescent bureaucracy faded into the tailpipe's rumble. Chat's ghostly chorus followed, mischievous but softer now, egging him on with phantom push-up quotas and whispered Wi-Fi passwords, while SlumG grinned at the open road ahead, his laughter swerving neatly around the next lurking checkpoint. As the road unspooled under his wheels, SlumG caught himself chuckling whenever he passed a cow or a flickering streetlight, half expecting the overzealous health inspector or the Wi-Fi auditor to leap from the shadows demanding streaming license or fodder compliance forms. The memory of Chat's spectral chorus and the ghost's bureaucratic bluster lingered like the taste of too sour curd. Each new checkpoint now an inside joke between him and the absurd, cosmic committee haunting every mile.